We had been engaged for 9 years, and I was still waiting for a wedding date that seemed like it was never going to happen. After seeing Elena parade her affection for that fraud of a rich guy yet again, I finally just ran out of hope. I didn't have the energy for a screaming match or any dramatic questions. I simply took the engagement ring off and calmly dropped it into the trash can. Then, I booked a plane ticket to go overseas in 2 weeks. Just as I was getting ready to head to the airport, a text message from Elena appeared on my screen. She asked, "Arthur, why aren't you back yet? It's the anniversary of our engagement today. Did you seriously not get me a gift?" I typed back with a genuine smile on my face, telling her, "I'm giving you your freedom. We are done." After I got hurt, Elena called me immediately. She asked, "Arthur, did you mess with Julian again? Can't you just grow up? Julian is upset because of you." I didn't see the point in arguing, so I just hung up the phone. Julian proceeded to send me a barrage of photos every hour, showing off him and Elena in bed together. He captioned them with things like, "Didn't you say you couldn't live without Elena? Let's see you actually die then." The last video he sent was cruel, featuring Elena's cold voice saying, "He'd be better off dead." I looked down at the wound on my wrist, feeling lightheaded as the blood flowed. Hearing her say those words actually woke me up from my stupor. I whispered to our house butler, "Uncle, please call an ambulance for me." From the floor below, I heard my mother's sharp voice cut through the air. "Arthur, what are you up to now? Can't you go a single day without causing some kind of trouble? You are such a disappointment." Just before I blacked out, I heard my dad let out a heavy sigh and say, "Ignore him. He's just faking it for attention again." When I finally woke up, the stinging smell of hospital disinfectant filled my nose. My dad walked into the room with a stern expression. For a second, I was excited and tried to open my dry lips to speak, but I froze when I saw his face. Anger was practically radiating off him. "Now that you're awake, get home," he snapped. "You've embarrassed us enough. Thinking about suicide just because people might think we treat you poorly?" I managed a small, weak smile and said, "It won't happen again." The nurse who was watching him walk away quietly tried to comfort me. "He doesn't seem like a real dad," she said softly. "More like an enemy." Her words hurt, but they were true. I gave her a sincere smile in return. My biological parents thought I was an embarrassment, while total strangers were the ones showing me concern. I laughed quietly to myself. All these years I had spent longing for family and love, and I realized I didn't need it anymore. With bandages wrapped around my wrists, I weakly made my way back home. Inside, the family was happily eating dinner together. Elena was lovingly spoon-feeding Julian dessert. When I walked in, my parents didn't even look up from their plates. They felt my suicide attempt was shameful, so they hadn't told a soul about it. Julian, however, waved at me with a bright grin. "Arthur's back. You look a bit under the weather. You should eat something." Elena frowned but spoke lightly, saying, "Julian, don't worry about him. He's always been healthy as a horse. You just focus on taking care of yourself." It was a stark contrast to how things used to be. When I was first brought home years ago, Elena used to look at my thin face and dull hair with such distress. She would research nutritional recipes to help me regain my health and cook me meals every single day. She used to say with such concern, "Arthur, you aren't well. You need proper care." Now, she only cooked for Julian. I walked upstairs with a blank expression. Behind me, I heard Mom sigh and say, "If only Julian were our biological son. That troublemaker Arthur is beneath Elena." Julian chuckled sweetly and replied, "You're just teasing, Mom." When I was young, Elena, to whom I was engaged since childhood, took me out to play, and I ended up getting kidnapped. To make amends for the incident, Elena's family promised that the marriage arrangement would always stand. My parents adopted Julian to soothe the pain of losing me, but 9 years ago, when I was finally found and returned, I realized I was unnecessary. The day I came back was the anniversary of my adoptive mother's death. We were at the cemetery. Elena held an umbrella over my head and handed me a bouquet of flowers to place on the grave. People said I only held on to Elena for her family's money, but deep down, I remembered that bouquet for 9 years. But even the most beautiful flowers eventually wilt, just like my love for Elena, which had drained away with every disappointment. I called an old senior friend of mine overseas. He was surprised to hear from me, but then sounded thrilled. "Junior, the professor is going to be so happy you're willing to come back." My eyes started to sting with tears. "We've been holding the principal cellist spot open for you," he said. "We all miss you." My house might be here in this city, but the people who truly cared for me were across the ocean. If I died here, the people who treated me like dirt wouldn't shed a tear. With nothing worth staying for at home, I decided to seek my own future. I booked a flight for 2 weeks later. While I was packing my things at Elena's house, I got an urgent call from her. She said, "Arthur, come to this address right now." I kept my voice calm and replied, "I'm busy. I'm not available." She paused, clearly unexpected such a firm refusal from me. After a moment, she spoke again, her voice sounding dry. "Come now. You've always wanted to go to the amusement park. I'll go with you." I cut her off. "I'll go wherever I want on my own." Irritated, she snapped, "It's Julian's birthday party, and the cellist canceled. Come and help us." Ignoring her rambling demands, I hung up the phone. My silent call log quickly filled up with Elena's name, pressing for a response. After I was found years ago, Julian had monopolized our parents' affection. Only Elena had remained with me when I returned, trying to comfort my confusion with warm encouragement. But pity fades, and sincerity can change swiftly. During my 4 years studying abroad, Elena fell in love with Julian. I could have stayed with a renowned orchestra overseas back then, yet for hollow promises of love and family, I returned here and became a lesser-known cellist, nicknamed the Invisible One. When I first returned, I was asked to join Julian on a variety show. Watching him and Elena act lovey-dovey on screen, I grabbed her wrist, only to be accused of being the third wheel by everyone online. I pressed Elena on why she didn't clarify or reveal our actual relationship. She dismissed it, saying, "Julian's career is rising. Our fans still need strengthening." For Julian's birthday live stream, Elena spared no expense, hiring a top cellist. She gently declared on camera, "If Julian wants the stars, I'd pluck them from the sky for him." With a sweet smile, Julian added, "I wanted to invite Arthur, but it seems he's still mad at me." I laughed at their cheap tricks, yet the fans bought into Julian's act. Last time he stirred up the resentment of our shared fans, leading one aggressive fan to attack me with a knife in the parking garage. Luckily, it was just a minor cut on my neck. The security guards came in time and subdued him, but I was shaking like a leaf. I cried while calling Elena to take me to the hospital. On the other end of the line, I heard the sound of lips smacking. After a long pause, she mumbled, "Don't play around. I'm busy with work here." In the video stream later, Elena affectionately ruffled Julian's hair, her eyes full of tenderness. I smirked, my gaze lingering on the ring on her slender finger in the video. The sparkle of the diamond was almost blinding. I casually took my own ring off and tossed it into the trash can without a care. The table was piled with birthday gifts Elena had given me over the years, from the necklace she handmade when I first returned home, to the generic perfumes you could find anywhere in the airport duty-free shops. As the love dwindled, so did the thought she put into gifts for me. I had just refused to see it before. I packed all the gifts I once treasured into a garbage bag and exhaled a long breath. When Elena came home in the evening, she nervously handed me a bowl of fish maw porridge. "Arthur, Julian is your brother. My work with him won't affect our engagement." I noticed the deep red kiss mark behind her ear and calmly said, "I know." That year when I mentioned wanting roasted chestnuts, she went out on a snowy winter night to find them. That girl was long gone. I didn't want to think about whether Elena couldn't stand the loneliness, or if it was a moment of fresh excitement when she decided to betray our relationship under the guise of taking care of her brother. There was no hope for us anymore. On Elena's birthday, I had a flight leaving in 3 days. We agreed it would be just the two of us celebrating. But when I came back from studying abroad previously, I found out her birthday was still a two-person affair. Just her and Julian. I was used to making her a bowl of noodles and watching her eat with a smile. Elena hurried downstairs, buttoning her cuff, and said, "I won't have the longevity noodles. I have plans tonight." Her voice cut off when she saw the empty table with just a cup of coffee. Noticing her gaze, I nodded and smiled. "Go ahead. Be busy." Elena hesitated for a moment, then sat at the table. "How about I book a restaurant for tonight?" Before she finished the sentence, her phone screen lit up. I glanced over and saw a selfie of Julian in an apron in the kitchen. "Elena, I'm cooking today," he had sent. Elena took a deep breath. Her pupils constricted for a moment, and she licked her dry lips. "Arthur, the company has a big project tonight. Next year, for sure, we'll celebrate together." I looked her straight in the eyes until she nervously tugged at her earlobe, a small gesture she often made when feeling guilty. I gave a faint smile. As Elena saw my smile, she gradually relaxed. She patted my back, agreed, then left in a hurry. I indifferently ate the sandwich in front of me. Who she spent her birthday with didn't matter anymore. That night I came across Julian's side account on social media. The photo showed Elena making a wish, fireworks exploding outside the window behind her. The caption read, "This year, next year, many years of our future together." I let out a dry laugh and gave it a like. Moments later, messages from Julian bombarded my phone. "Arthur, the world is yours, but the only thing I truly have is Elena. I know you two are engaged, but she loves me now. She hasn't left you because she doesn't want to hurt you." When I didn't respond, Julian's words became more provocative. "Whether you admit it or not, it was me with her during the 4 years you were away. What's the point of staying with someone who doesn't love you?" Expressionless, I tossed the phone aside. Sensing something off, Elena unusually stayed home the next day. Her eyes flickered as she grabbed my wrist. "Where's our engagement ring?" The bandages on my wound hurt, and I trembled as I spoke. "I took it off when I was showering. Let me go." Seeing the sweat drip off my forehead, Elena was stunned and lifted my sleeve. "You're hurt? Why didn't you tell me?" I frowned and pulled my hand away. "The stitches come out today." Elena's eyes darkened, and she blinked, pressing her lips together. "I'll take you to the hospital." After months, I found myself in Elena's passenger seat again, now adorned with soft pillows and blankets. Seeing me pause, she threw them to the back seat. Shortly after the car started, her phone rang. The ringtone was a sweet song sung by Julian. She glanced at me and saw me staring calmly out the window, hesitated, then answered it. On the other side, a boy's anxious voice spoke. "Elena, my outfit for tonight's event is missing." Elena quickly reassured Julian. "Don't worry, I'll bring you a new one now." As we drove through a deserted area, the car suddenly stopped. Elena seemed at a loss for words, her lips moving but not making a sound. I smiled and looked at her, opening the car door. Surprised I got out so decisively, she only hesitated for a second before driving off. I was left alone by the roadside. That evening, when Elena returned home, I was sitting in the dimly lit living room. She approached me, trying to nuzzle close like she used to. "Arthur, I'll take you to the new rose garden tomorrow. Julian said it's beautiful there." A sweet scent of men's cologne filled the air, and I sidestepped away. Seeing her puzzled look, I gently said, "Elena, I'm allergic to rose pollen." Awkwardly, she smiled and picked up the calendar on the coffee table. She noticed the big red circle marking tomorrow for our engagement anniversary. Elena sighed in relief and said with a smile, "See you tomorrow." I quietly responded in my heart, "Elena, there's no see you anymore." Early the next morning, I quietly left the villa with my luggage. As I sat on the plane, my phone buzzed with a text. "Arthur, today's our engagement anniversary. Didn't you prepare a gift for me?" Every previous anniversary, Elena would wake to find a handmade gift by me on her pillow. But this time, I smiled and typed, "I give you freedom. We're breaking up." After sending it, I turned off my phone. At 30,000 feet in the air, Elena back home couldn't believe what she saw on her phone. She tried calling me but got the "phone is off" message every time. In her rush, she didn't even bother to put on her slippers before knocking anxiously on my door. After I returned from studying abroad, she claimed she was too busy with work and didn't want to disturb my sleep, so we stayed in separate rooms. Later, I found out she just didn't want me to interrupt her late-night meetings with Julian. Now there was no trace of that gentle face she'd put on. When she pushed open the door, her panic was clear as day. Finding the room unusually empty, she saw those gifts she once gave me were now piled up in trash bags. Our once cherished photos were gathering dust, untouched for who knows how long. She opened the balcony door and called out, "Arthur, stop kidding around, come on out!" But the only response she got was silence. Out of the corner of her eye, she noticed a glimmer in the trash can. Her hand trembled as she picked up the ring, her eyes red with frustration. When the plane landed, I immediately saw Dave, my senior, waiting at the arrival gate. Next to him was Sarah, holding a bunch of knitbone flowers. I chuckled, took off my sunglasses, my eyes slightly wet. "Welcome back home," Dave said. "The teacher found out you were coming back and gifted you the vineyard." Dave laughed. "The old man is as generous as ever." With a soft laugh, I teased, "Well, I am the teacher's favorite student after all." Sarah, who had been quiet, whispered, "Now that you're back, don't leave again." I remembered the day before I flew back to my home country years ago. She had cried in the snow, telling me, "Arthur, if you're unhappy, come back. I'll be waiting." Smiling gently, I patted her shoulder. "I'm here to stay." When I turned my phone on, a slew of calls flooded in. They were all from Elena. I glanced at the slow-loading phone, my smile faltering slightly. Dave raised an eyebrow. "You wasted 4 years being her background decoration. You went from a cello prodigy to someone no one knows. We should have never let you go back." He checked his watch. "I have rehearsals to catch," he added. "Sarah will drive you back. She's been worried you'd change your mind if you came back." Just then my phone rang again. This time it was someone who surprised me. My dad's angry voice boomed through the speaker. "Arthur, you troublemaker, disappearing again? You scared Elena half to death. Get home right now or don't you dare call me Dad anymore." I blinked, unfazed by his tone. Home or not, I wasn't going back. My dad, caught off guard by my calmness, softened his voice, a bit confused. "What do you mean?" Catching Sarah's worried eyes, I gave a reassuring smile. "I mean just that. I hope you, Julian, and Elena are happy together." After hanging up, Sarah sighed. "What kind of life have you been living there?" I chuckled at her concern. "Thought I was in love, but I was just blind." Shaking her head, she asked, "Was Elena that girl waiting downstairs at the teacher's house while you practiced until midnight? We all thought you'd marry her when you went back." I blinked, a bright grin spreading across my face. Lucky I didn't. Turns out the one who traveled so far just to see me was hooking up with someone else. In that moment, Elena's call came through again. I couldn't figure out her persistence. "Elena, what do you want?" I asked, annoyed. Only her breaths were audible on the other end. Just as I was about to hang up, she spoke in a low voice. "Arthur, where have you gone? I'll come get you." I pinched the space between my brows, irritation flaring up. "We've broken up. Don't you understand that? Did you think you hid things with Julian that well, leaving me to watch the sunrise with him, comforting him while I was hurt? Do you expect me to be fooled by gossip?" Each word drove a stake through her heart. Quietly, barely audible, she said, "Arthur, it's you I'll marry." I added mentally, "But your love and mind were elsewhere long ago." That call ended when I blocked her number. Her parting words, "Arthur, I'll make you come back to me," lingered when news of her and Julian appearing on a couple reality show broke. Everyone in the band watched me cautiously. Little gifts kept showing up in my practice room. Amused, I asked Dave about it. He just handed me a bag of homemade cookies from his sister-in-law, looking sympathetic. "They're worried about you." Those scars remained on my wrist, but my heart felt nothing. Every night, Sarah waited for me to finish rehearsals, taking me out for warming midnight snacks. Watching her focus on her laptop as she waited, I felt a profound sense of calm. She was the one truly waiting for me, quietly offering comfort. Elena's game to force me back used her and Julian's TV show as bait, not caring if it would make me suffer. Yet my bandmates, the ones who truly cared, showed their support quietly. Julian posted a picture from a secret account, a woman's bare back with the caption, "She's mine, no one else's." Unbothered, I logged out, wiping down my cello bow. While they were busy with their drama, my mom called. Usually gentle with Julian, she spoke sharp as glass towards me. "Ungrateful son! Where have you been disappearing to? Think this family can't do without you? Bringing you back was a mistake. Our home was peaceful until you returned. Stay away. Julian is better for Elena." I cried over the preference my parents showed Julian. Elena had told me once about how my mom cried when I was taken, and how Dad had paused work to search for me. Yet during the years I was gone, that missing love had seamlessly transferred to Julian. When they found me, I stood awkwardly in their extravagant living room wearing socks with holes. Julian threw himself into his mom's arms, sniffling cutely. "Mom and Dad have a son now. Does that mean you won't want me anymore?" At that moment, my parents focused only on comforting the little boy in their arms, not sparing a single glance my way. Only Elena, holding my hand tightly, whispered, "Don't worry, I'm always here." The promises made in youth don't hold up. Mom and Dad's attitude towards me remained the same, cold and indifferent. Even the girl who once stood by me is no longer my support. Seeing my silence, Dad picked up his phone, warning me sternly. "We know about them filming the show too. Everyone puts on a performance outside. If you can't accept that, how can you talk about marriage? Arthur, we're not going to keep letting you act recklessly. You don't want to marry Elena, so it works out for her and Julian." Even now they think I'm just being stubborn, waiting for Elena to come find me. But the woman who said she'd give me a home was doing all sorts of intimate things behind my back with my foster brother. My own family never took my side, no matter what. "Arthur, I got you the dessert you mentioned. Come try it." I looked up to see Sarah's kind face calling to me with warmth. I had only casually mentioned that dessert shop, which usually had a line out the door for 2 hours. Seeing the sweat on Sarah's temples, a smile involuntarily appeared on my face. As the orchestra performance drew near, I spent more and more time practicing in the rehearsal room. I hadn't checked any news from home. On the day of the performance, I stood as the lead cellist. As I slowly drew the bow across the strings, I saw my teacher proudly smiling and holding a thumbs up, and Sarah in the audience. The genuine applause from the audience filled my ears. As I bowed, my teacher held my hand. "After 4 years off stage, still the genius cellist that amazes them." Sarah pulled out a necklace and put it around my neck. The pendant was a diamond-crafted cello. "Arthur, you'll always shine the brightest for me." After the performance, fans moved by my music began searching for past performances. But the last one online was from 4 years ago, before I returned to the country. I confidently played my original composition on the theater's central stage. During those 4 years back, I was merely a shadow for Julian, even getting criticized by his fans. "Where did they find this subpar cellist?" they used to say. "So young, what do they know about music? Definitely just a pretty face. Maybe a new recruit from Julian's company trying to get famous." Now those insults and slanders are behind me. My cheers and applause finally began. News of genius cellist returns to the stage and orchestra's lead cellist reappears spread back home. Unexpectedly, I saw someone waiting outside the orchestra building. Elena. I wasn't sure how long she'd been there, but she had a layer of light snow on her shoulders. When she saw me, she put out her cigarette, trying to smile. "Arthur, you didn't tell me you were performing with the orchestra. Your parents are asking about you too. When are you coming home?" I stared at her blankly until she got nervous. I finally spoke. "Have you forgotten we have no relationship anymore?" She sighed, her eyes showing a sadness I couldn't understand. "Arthur, my future husband can only be you. We'll have a happy home." Maybe the novelty of Julian wore off and she started missing our time together, or perhaps she didn't want to give up on our 9-year relationship. But none of that mattered now. "Your couple's show with Julian isn't finished filming yet, Elena. Anyone who betrays love isn't fit to have a home." I scoffed without emotion. Behind me, Sarah's voice called out, "Arthur, today's afternoon tea is chestnut cake. Don't waste time with irrelevant people." I ignored Elena, turning to head upstairs. Coincidentally, the show's final filming location was in France. The orchestra manager hesitated, asking, "Arthur, a local TV crew wants to film at our performance. Is that okay?" I paused, shrugging. "As long as they don't interrupt us." Julian was unhappy with Elena's reaction after I left, so he suggested they watch the orchestra perform. In the dressing room before going on stage, Julian blocked my way to the door. "Arthur, you've already left. Don't cling to Elena." I looked at him oddly. "Are you waiting for Elena to propose to you?" His face turned red with anger. "If you hadn't come back, the one marrying Elena would have been me." In Julian's selfish mind, my parents and everything I had should be his. When I went to study abroad years ago, he cryptically said at the airport, "You shouldn't leave the country." Looking back now, Julian probably planned everything out. Whether it was seduction or genuine interest, Elena ultimately became his. I passed by him coldly. Julian crossed his arms, pretending to be indifferent. "Laugh all you like. I want to see if you regret this." The orchestra performance was successful, with my cello performance marking the closing. The audience's response was overwhelmingly positive. But online, dirt about me was heating up. A renowned critical music reviewer trashed my performance, calling it uninspired, dull, not deserving of a cello, even holding it wrong. Yet another viral sensation manufactured by hype. People unfamiliar with the cello believed her stern review. Coincidentally, someone leaked photos suggesting I was involved with the rising star Julian's girlfriend. In the photos, Elena was laughing, holding onto my arm. There were also shots of us at the supermarket or shopping together. Julian posted pitifully, "Don't blame Elena. Some people just choose to tempt others. Her heart belongs only to me." Julian's fans lashed out, saying I was shameless. "Seriously? Saw him getting too close to Elena on that show? Guess he's just a homewrecker running off abroad pretending to be a cellist. Really thinks he's hot stuff, huh?" Sarah looked at me with concern, pointing at her phone screen. "Arthur, put down your phone for a bit." Julian is just plain toxic and dumb. He thought labeling me as a homewrecker would stop Elena from getting back with me and ruin my career. Before I could clear things up, a photo of me with my teacher got dug up by the internet. Some busybody commented on my senior's social media account, asking why a fame seeker like me could be pictured with a celebrated cellist. The senior replied, confused, "The person you're asking about is the last student of Professor John. Who's this fame seeker?" Elena's family company official account quickly posted a statement. "Mr. Arthur has always been our president's fiancé." Julian's fake account and mine got exposed as well. I had been documenting my relationship with Elena for 9 years. Went to see the fireworks with Elena today. So beautiful. Gave Elena a birthday gift, a cello piece. She said she'd watch all my performances. My brother broke the bracelet Elena gave me. It hurts. The days studying abroad are dragging on. I can't wait to return to see Elena. Elena stood in the snow for hours just to see me for 5 minutes. The last update was after I came back. Everything changes with time. Julian's posts on Facebook were all taunts. Pictures of Elena, asleep, carefully selected gifts, and the two of them holding hands. Julian's moves backfired like a boomerang. Back in the city, Elena, with anger, questioned his motives. With a cherry-red nose and teary eyes, he said pitifully, "Elena, I just love you too much." But Elena pushed him away, full of disgust. "You said you wouldn't ask for anything in return, and wouldn't bother Arthur. Didn't you post all these provoking photos and words on Facebook yourself?" Tears ran down Julian's face, making him look pitiful. "Arthur has left you, and I just wanted to teach him a lesson for you." Elena coldly sneered. "You wanted to marry me and wreck Arthur's career. Clever plan." With clenched fists and veins popping, she dialed my number. But I'd blocked her long ago. She spoke of missing me while tangled up with Julian, found our 9-year relationship bland, chasing a thrill with my stepbrother. Every single thing led us down separate paths. Arthur, I ended up losing you. I no longer pay attention to the drama back home. Elena sometimes sits in the audience when the orchestra performs, but I've never once seen her. On the day of my solo cello performance, Sarah was even more nervous than me. She tried to calm me, pretending everything was cool. Arthur, don't worry. After it's over, I'll take you to see fireflies. Her attempt was poorly done, but it made me laugh. I looked at her and said, "With you here, I'm not afraid." Surprised and delighted, she looked up at me. The performance ended smoothly. During the thank yous, I mentioned my teacher, senior, everyone in the orchestra, and Sarah, who waited for me. Elena frowned deeply, her lips tight, seeming uneasy. Upon leaving the theater, Elena blocked my way with a bouquet of roses. Arthur, I know I was wrong. Julian ruined his reputation, and his parents gave him some money and kicked him out. Arthur, our 9 years were more than just a number. I got blinded by novelty but won't make the same mistake again. I stepped back, covering my nose, and looked at her with a detached nod of my head. You forgot again that I'm allergic to roses. Elena, you still think I'm just sulking? You left the last time for a call from Julian. The first photo Julian sent me was of you lying on his lap, your fingers in his hair. Whenever I see you, those disgusting images come to mind. To me, you're just a stranger. Revolting. At that, Elena trembled, squatting down, covering her face and sobbing silently. With nothing but indifference, I brushed past her, heading towards Sarah. Since that day, I never saw her again. On the day I married Sarah, it was during the splendid blossom of spring. We held a wedding on an island in France, just like I dreamt. Unexpectedly, some turned up uninvited. Somehow, people back home found out about my wedding. My parents and Elena awkwardly stood at the chapel gate. Dad seemed to have aged a decade, no longer standing tall. Mom lost her elegance, fine lines etched in her eyes. Sarah carefully glanced at my expression. She put her arm around my shoulder. Should we ask them to leave? I shook my head. No big deal. Just don't let them cause trouble. Sarah gently said, Let them see your happiness then. When Sarah kissed me as we exchanged rings, I heard a faint sniffle. My parents left, looking back at each step, but I never called out to stop them, no matter their longing looks. Before leaving, Elena handed me a prettily packaged gift box. Arthur, it was for our wedding, something you wanted. I chuckled, interrupting her. Elena, don't come anymore. I'll just see you as fake. I casually tossed the gift into the trash. I grabbed Sarah's hand and turned away. The cello piece I composed at 18 for the one I loved left as just notes. Later, Julian blew through the money his parents gave him. Elena hired someone to lure him into gambling, leaving him heavily in debt. After finding out Elena orchestrated his nightmare, Julian waited outside her villa for days. Kicked out by security, he stayed bitter and lay in wait near Elena's company in the pre-dawn hours. Elena didn't sense the danger, as Julian dragged her with his car for dozens of meters. With amputated legs and stocks bought up, Elena became a recluse after her company changed hands. It passed as all but a faded dream to me. The orchestra's final concert tour stop was back home. Mia and Sarah came to pick me up, her big round eyes fixated on a spot. Following her gaze, I saw nothing. Once in the car, she said in her sweet little voice, Daddy, there was a lady in a wheelchair who seemed to cry when she saw you. I paused, then patted her soft hair and kissed her forehead as she frowned slightly. "It's just a stranger, sweetheart. Nothing to worry about."